What if I told you some maps show cities that don't exist yet? And every time, the impossible routine. If you skip this, you'll miss the most shocking truth I'll reveal at the end. Number 10. The map of the Black Coast. Drawn 50 years before it formed in 1923, a retired sailor named Elias Crown drew a weathered map of a rugged black shoreline that no one had ever seen. He claimed it came to him in a vivid dream, a place of jagged cliffs, volcanic beaches, and a single crooked lighthouse. At the time, experts dismissed it as pure fantasy, but here's where your mind starts to itch. In 1973, a massive undersea volcanic eruption created a coast almost identical to Crown's drawing, right down to the leaning lighthouse, which appeared as if it had been there for decades. Wait, hold your breath. This gets stranger. The lighthouse wasn't built by humans. It was a natural rock formation shaped exactly like a lighthouse tower, with a hollow interior and spiraling stairs carved into the stone by centuries of erosion. And just when you think it's a coincidence, Crown's original map was later found in his grandson's attic, with a single chilling note in the corner. You can't stop what's already here. Number 9. The river that flowed backwards. Sketched by a schoolboy. In 1899, 12-year-old Matthew Pritchard submitted a hand-drawn map for a geography contest. It showed a winding river flowing inland from the ocean, but not feeding into it. Instead, the water seemed to move in reverse, climbing uphill toward a mountain valley. The judges laughed. It's cute, they said, but rivers don't flow backwards. Fast forward to 2001, a rare seismic shift along the coast of South America caused the river to temporarily reverse its course for nearly 3 months, following the exact path of Matthew's drawing. Now here's where the ground under your feet starts to feel unstable. Pritchard's river sketch included a tiny settlement on the riverbed, a settlement that didn't exist when you drew it. And yet, in 2001, satellite images showed a new fishing camp there, established just weeks before the reversal began. Ask yourself, was Matthew Pritchard just lucky? Or did he see a piece of the future in his mind? Number 8. The map of Hollow Paris. In 1937, a reclusive French cartographer named Jules Ardon published a strange hand-inked map labeled Le Paris Souterrain, underground Paris. His version wasn't like the standard metro lines or old catacombs. It showed vast empty chambers, long twisting corridors, and entire plazas beneath the streets, many of which supposedly didn't exist. Paris authorities dismissed it as a wild work of imagination. Then, in 2016, during an emergency metro repair, workers broke through a wall and entered a massive underground hall. Its dimensions matched Ardon's map, to the meter. But here's the part that will gnaw at your brain tonight. Graffiti found inside that hall dated back to before. Ardon was even born, yet it matched his own handwriting. Get ready for a shocking twist. Deeper analysis of the ink suggested it wasn't modern at all. It was at least 200 years old. Number 7. The Phantom Island of Rayford. In 1814, a Scottish missionary named Ewan Fraser drew a map of the South Pacific for his travel tours. In it, he marked an island named Rayford, describing it as a place that hums in the wind. Sailors searched for years but found nothing, eventually declaring it a navigational myth. Then came the twist that would make your skin crawl. In 1998, a small rocky island did rise from the Pacific after an undersea earthquake, exactly where Fraser had marked Raytha. Divers reported hearing a faint, constant humming underwater near the site. Now here's the detail no one talks about. Raytha's humming matched the frequency of the human nervous system. And some locals who visited the island returned home with inexplicable, vivid dreams of events that hadn't happened yet. Number 6. The City in the Clouds. Seen before. Flight existed. In 1847, a Prussian explorer named Friedrich Lutz drew a sprawling map of a sky city floating above the Himalayas, complete with towers, roads, and lakes in the clouds. He claimed Sherpas told him they could see it during rare mirage days. For more than a century, it was written off as hoax, until 2020, when satellite imagery detected a massive airborne structure of ice crystals and dust, suspended for weeks above the same Himalayan region Lutz had mapped. Here's the part that will turn your spine to glass. Researchers who enhanced the satellite data found patterns in the Cloud City, identical to ancient architectural blueprints. Blueprints that hadn't been uncovered until 2021, a full year later. And scrawled at the edge of Lutz's map, in faint pencil. They will return when we are ready. Number 5. The Arctic Passage that shouldn't exist. In 1893, a little-known Norwegian sailor named Leif Hartson claimed he dreamt of a northern route through the Arctic that cut weeks off the journey from Norway to Alaska. No explorer had ever charted such a path, because ice made it impossible. But Hartson drew it anyway, with icy cliffs, deep pools, strange untouched islands. At the time, everyone laughed. His maps showed a gap where there was only solid ice, or so everyone thought. Wait until you hear this. I'm about to reveal something that will leave you cold. Decades later, in 2013, satellites picked up an unexpected melt in the Arctic. A near-perfect match to Hartson's map. Even the islands he sketched with their exact shapes and locations emerged from under centuries of ice. Here's the part no one talks about. Hartson had marked one of those islands with a red X and the word beware. That exact spot is now a restricted zone controlled by multiple governments. Why? They won't say. But fishermen report hearing machines under the ice at night. Number 4. The forest city that built itself. In 1967, a quiet man named Harold King handed a librarian in Kansas a rolled-up parchment, claiming it was for the next century. When opened, it revealed a sprawling map of a green city, towering tree buildings, roads made of moss, and rivers that flowed vertically through vines. It was labeled Dantes. The odd thing, King insisted he didn't invent it. He remembered it. Now listen carefully. I'm about to connect dots no one dares to connect. In 2022, deep in the Amazon, drone footage caught something impossible. A living settlement eerily similar to King's Verdantis. Massive banyan trees shaped into arches and walls, branches grown into spiral staircases. The layout matched King's drawing, down to a river loop shaped like an infinity symbol. Here's where it gets even stranger. Botanists claim this forest architecture couldn't have formed naturally in such symmetry. Some trees are over 300 years old, meaning they were planted long before King was even born. Number 3. The Ocean Ridge. That sings. In 1911, marine cartographer Eleanor Brooks charted an undersea mountain chain in the Pacific she called the Harmonic Ridge. According to her notes, while aboard her ship she heard deep, melodic sounds from beneath the waves, so precise they seemed like coordinates. Her map showed the ridge as a perfect spiral stretching hundreds of miles. Of course, the ocean floor there was flat, according to her reports. But wait, brace yourself, because this changes everything. In 2004, sonar mapping revealed the ridge exists, and worse, hydrophones recorded an almost identical harmonic sound to Brooks' description. The sound isn't random, it's a repeating sequence. Some marine researchers think it's seismic activity. Others say it's a message. And the exact center of the spiral? That's the one spot where sonar fails, as if something doesn't want to be seen. Number 2. The Disappearing Peninsula. In 1848, French explorer Marcel Duvin presented a map showing a vast peninsula jutting out from the coast of Africa. It had detailed mountain ranges, freshwater lakes, and small coastal towns, all meticulously drawn. Problem: no such peninsula existed. Maritime records showed nothing there but open sea. But here's the twist you never saw coming. In 2019, after a freak sandstorm and ocean current shift, satellites detected a landmass eerily similar to Duvan's Peninsula. The mountains, the lakes, all there. And just as quickly as it appeared, weeks later, it was gone. Fishermen who ventured near claimed they saw ruins on the shore, and strange symbols carved into stone walls, as if they had been underwater for centuries. How could Duvin have mapped something that comes and goes? Number 1. The City in the Sky. In 1932, artist and amateur mapmaker Ida Blackwell sketched something she called the City Above the Clouds. Her hand-drawn map depicted floating landmasses saw it while standing on a mountain peak during a thunderstorm. The clouds opened, and I saw another world. Decades later, her drawings were forgotten in an attic, until 2021. That year, hikers in the Himalayas captured drone footage of an island of land, floating above the clouds for several minutes before vanishing. And here's the part that will shake you to your core. The structures on that floating land matched Blackwell's towers exactly. Experts can't explain it. Some say it was a mirage. Others whisper about dimensional overlaps. But there's something else. Hidden in the corner of her map, almost invisible, is a second sketch, a massive clock counting down. If her date calculations are correct, the countdown ends in 2028. Final fact, remember, I promised you the most unbelievable revelation at the end. Here it is. Researchers found that all 10 of these map makers, from different countries, centuries apart, were born on the same day of the year. And every one of them disappeared without explanation before their 50th birthday.